Happy Friday. Good morning if it's morning where you are. Good afternoon if it's afternoon where you are. Hey, Spug. Drop your first name. Welcome. Drop your first name in the chat for me if you are. Welcome. Yeah, good afternoon if it's afternoon for you. Good evening if it's evening for you. Good morning if it's morning for you. It's morning for me here in New York. If you're here with me, put your first name in the chat. I love addressing people by name. Welcome. Jessica Carter, the Peaceful Billionaire here. It's Friday, and I love, oh my gosh, it is Dan. Are you kidding me right now? Well, hi, Dan. It's been a long time. That's what you never know who people are on Instagram, right? Like people just see the Peaceful Billionaire on Instagram, on social media. You don't know that the Peaceful Billionaire is Jessica Carter, the one and only Jessica Carter that you might have known since high school or for over 20 years. Who knows? So it's Friday, and Friday is an opportunity. I'm gonna jam out and riff on some things, but it's also an opportunity for you to share some wins, no matter how big or how small, so that those can get celebrated, because what gets celebrated gets replicated. And also, if you have questions, I will answer questions. Hopefully some more people will be hopping on live and joining today. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, I gotta turn the music off. I start jamming out before I go live, and I get carried away sometimes, and I forget to turn off the music. So I was talking a couple of evenings ago when I went live, right, about the difference between manifestation and co-creation, and the difference between mindset work and mastery, right? Mastery. And what I teach and what I use for my clients is co-creation and mastery. Co-creation and mastery. Because there's still limitation when it comes to manifestation. If you understand manifestation, it's a powerful thing, but there's still limitation with it. Same thing with mindset work. It's a powerful thing, but there's also limitation with it. And so having that neuroscience background, there was always this push for me to go beyond, right? To go beyond the status quo, to go beyond what it was that I was being told was possible, and figuring out how it all works so that you have the opportunity to access 100% of your potential. So, if you've listened with me before, I always talk about your mind in regards to it being a $27 billion asset with 27 billion kilowatts of power. And that's a really, really extraordinary and incredible thing. The trouble is that most people are only using 5% of the value and the power of that $27 billion asset versus 100% of it, right? And so if you're fueling your dreams, goals, and your desires with 100% of that $27 billion value and 100% of that 27 billion kilowatts of power, do you think, right? Does it seem plausible and reasonable that with that amount of value and power, powering your dreams, your goals, and desires, that it is in fact real, true, and possible for your dreams, goals, and desires to be absolutely inevitable? Well, that's where that language comes from me. Because when you really, really know and understand mastery, and you really, really know and understand co-creation, and how to really use, right? How to use this $27 billion asset to your benefit, how to use it to aim it towards anything that you choose to have. Now, most of the time I'm referring to your financial destiny, right? Because that was the starting place for me on this journey. My starting place was I was seeking greater wealth and success. And what I ended up receiving is so much more. So there's so much more available oftentimes than what you might realize. And last night I was talking a little bit on my vlog about just about change. How much change and transformation can happen in your life in a short period of time. I feel like the biggest reason that a lot of people don't get started on their on that path and on that journey to a greater level of wealth or success, or on a path or on a journey to financial freedom. Well, one of those reasons is the four most detrimental words in the human language, which is "that's not for me." Right? So what happens is you might hear that possibility. You might think about greater levels of wealth and success. You might think about the possibility of financial freedom. But oftentimes, instantly, what happens is your mind will give a nanosecond of thought to that possibility before it shuts it down. Come back, Instagram. Instagram always phases out on me. So it will, your brain will be like, okay, yeah, more success, more money. That sounds great. Financial freedom. That sounds great. And then within a nanosecond, all of a sudden, your mind is already saying, oh, that's not for me. That's not for me. So those are the four most dangerous words in the human language. That's not for me. And it is for you, right? Greater levels of wealth and success, unprecedented levels of wealth and success. Financial freedom is for you. It is for you. And that might not feel real or true for you right now. And if that's the case, that's okay, right? That's okay. There's no judgment around that, because it's a journey. It's a journey, right? So if you're not as far along on your journey as you would like to be, if you're not where you would like to be financially, if you don't feel like you're as far along as you should be by now in your life. I remember being 25 and thinking I should be further along by now. What? Like, what? You're 25. And then I remember feeling the same way at 30. I'm like, Jesse, you're 30 now. You should be further along. And the truth is where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be, right? Where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be, both personally, professionally, and financially. But that's going to change. That's going to change because change is inevitable. I've always been someone who enjoyed change. I actually like change, and I tend to get out there and seek change. But for a lot of people, change is scary. Right? So if you're one of those people that change is scary, you can, just say me, like put me in the comments, put me in the chat. Or if you're one of those people, I'll give those people a moment. And now if you're one of those people who really loves change, put me in the chat, right? If you really love change. And I really love change. But whether you're resistant to change or you're someone who embraces change, change is inevitable. Change is one of those constants. It's a constant in life. Nothing is ever going to stay the same forever. So the change is inevitable. And then the question becomes, do you want to be an active participant? Do you want to take an active role in creating the change that you'd like to have? Or do you just want to kind of sit back in the driver's seat and deal with whatever change comes your way, right? Because the winds of change are blowing either way, and the winds of change are going to keep blowing, right? So whether you're sitting back and you're just dealing with whatever change the winds of change blow your way, or you're stepping up and saying no, you're saying I choose to have more. I desire more. I believe that there is more that is possible for me. In fact, I know that there's more out there to life than I'm currently experiencing. And I don't want to I don't want to do this anymore, right? I don't want to deal with just whatever change life throws my way, right? I want to be an active participant. I want to get in the driver's seat and be an active participant in creating the change in my life that I choose. And that's what's available. That is what is available for you. That is what is available to you by way of this $27 billion asset, right? Your mind it's a super highway of your potential. But to really, really access and get the full benefit, the full value, the full power of that $27 billion asset, you have to go beyond the confinements of your conscious mind, right? And when I say your conscious mind, what I'm referring to is that thinking logical brain that seems like is running the show, right? Seems like this thinking brain that never wants to shut up, right? That's constantly, there's this constant chatter back and forth in your mind. It seems like that logical thinking part of your mind is what's running the show. It seems like that part of your mind is in charge, but it's actually your subconscious mind. Remember I said your mind is a superhighway of your potential. Your subconscious mind is actually the one responsible for creating the external reality that you're experiencing. So the quality of the external life that you're experiencing, the external reality that you're experiencing, is that external reality, does it look like what you would like for it to look like? Does it feel how you would like it to feel, right? Are you living at a place that you feel is up to the standard that you desire and that you know you deserve? Or maybe you don't feel like you deserve it yet. That's okay too, right? That's okay too. I remember really, really early on this journey too, when there was some part of me, that I've always had an affinity for the finer things in life. And I didn't come from that. I didn't come from that at all, but I always had this affinity for it. So there was some little part of me that always desired wealth, that always desired greater levels of success. And if that's you, right, no matter how small that little fire or that little ember might be, just know that if you feel that is for you, right, that is actually a seed that is within each individual to advance, to seek greater levels of wealth, to seek greater levels of fulfillment. It is actually innate in you. Now, there's a lot of things societally that tell you that maybe you shouldn't go after that, or that you shouldn't have that, or that you don't deserve that. But all of those external factors in life that make you think, feel, or believe that are not the truth. Those are not the truth. So in fact, the opposite is actually true. It is normal for you to desire that, and you absolutely deserve it, and you absolutely can achieve it. I threw out, that was one of the tips, right? There's 10 ways to really start to optimize and leverage 100% of your mind. And one of the ones that I threw out there this past week is a Henry Ford quote: "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you are correct." I mean, think about that. Think about that. If you think I can do it, I can achieve it, I can get there, then you can. If you think that's not for me, I can't do it, I can't get there, then you can't. So that is how powerful your thoughts and your beliefs are. That is how powerful your thoughts and your beliefs are. And then how you feel is the jet fuel. How you feel matters, right? That's why earlier this week I was talking about the difference between manifestation and co-creation, and the difference between mindset and mastery. Mindset, you're using 5% of your mind, 5% of that $27 billion asset. Mastery, you're going to the place where you're using 100%. That's the goal, right? The goal is to use 100% of that value and power to access your full potential, your full potential as an individual being, and your full wealth potential. And the two of those things can actually happen simultaneously. That's the exciting part. Like, that's the exciting part. And that's what I do for my clients, is facilitate that change simultaneously, right? So you're becoming, right? And money is that desire for money and riches and wealth. That is part of your potential that is seeking full expression. It is part of you that is seeking its fullest expression, because you can do more, right? With more, you can do more. With more, you can be more. You can be more for yourself. You can be more for others. I say this all the time, right? Good people with good money do good things in the world. Great people with great money do great things in the world. Extraordinary people with extraordinary money do extraordinary things in the world. Now that doesn't mean, now remember, there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of money. Maybe they're not extraordinary. That's not who I'm talking about, right? The extraordinary people in the world who have extraordinary amounts of money do really extraordinary things with it. And that is the opportunity that is available to each and every one of you. And it becomes, so what is it that drives that potential? And I remember feeling very selfish early on, for having that desire, because I didn't understand it. I was like, okay, I desire to be rich and wealthy, and it felt very selfish. And what I realized is that yes, I desired it. And yes, there are things that I would like to have for myself, but really, when I really took a step back, I'm like, okay, well, but why do I really want this? And why am I going to put all this time and energy and effort into it, into attaining that and achieving that and receiving it? And I realized that was really because that deepest desire is to have a greater capacity to contribute, right? So there are parts of yourself. There are parts of yourself, your highest aspects of your being desire growth and desire contribution. And it's through that growth and through nurturing that pull, that desire for having a greater contribution to the world, that leads to things that you wouldn't have necessarily otherwise thought was possible. So you're being pulled forward towards that, whether you're consciously aware of it right now or not. You are being pulled towards that. So the question oftentimes then becomes is like, do you answer the call? Do you show up and say yes, and do you answer the call? Or do you stay in the status quo? Do you stay in the mundane? Do you stay on the hamster wheel, right? I spent a long time on the hamster wheel. Now, what's frustrating about the hamster wheel is when you're on it, oftentimes you don't really see. You're so in that going through the motions, right? I spent a long time there, just, going to work, going through the motions, not even seeing beyond that there was something more beyond that. And I think that's where a lot of people get trapped, that this status quo, that this daily grind, that this just going through the motions, that's the norm. And that might have been the norm for you for a long time, but that doesn't have to stay the norm. That doesn't have to be the norm. You can create a new norm. And there are other norms out there. That is one of the things that excites me the most, is since I've been on this journey of growth, right? That's both internally and externally, right? That's greater levels of peace, greater levels of fulfillment, greater levels of wealth, greater levels of success. Since I've been on this journey, this growth journey, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, this growth journey, when I reflect back, it's incredible how quickly it happens. But as I was saying earlier, a lot of people don't start because they think it's going to be too hard. They think it's going to take too long. And all you have to do is start, because once you start, it starts to happen really quickly. When I reflect back, that's one of the most exciting things for me. When I reflect back to where I was a few short years ago to where I am now, it blows my mind. And that's what keeps me excited for what's next, right? I remember sitting there in December. December is oftentimes one of those, it's the end of the year, you're about to start a new year. There's some reflection that takes place. And I remember sitting there in December 6 months ago and thinking, wow, reflecting back on where I was the previous December and thinking, wow, right? How far I've come in such a short period of time. And that made me super, super extra excited for this year because I'm like, well, I can't wait until next December. I can't wait to be sitting there in December of 2023 saying, holy crap, like reflecting back on this year. And that's the part that keeps me excited so even if I were to just right now mid-year, I invite you to take a moment to reflect. Think about where you were a year ago, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Where were you? How far have you come? Are you happy with that? Are you happy with that growth and that progress? Or are you unhappy with that reflection? And you can actually change it. You can actually change it. So if I look back on a year ago, there was some cool stuff happening. It's pretty cool. But when I think about where I am now, from where I was then and where I am now, and all of the things that have come to fruition in between, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And that same exponential growth is available to you as well. And so to facilitate, do you have any questions? So I just want to pause because I can chat and jam on this stuff for hours and hours and hours and hours. So Dan, do you have a win, no matter how big or how small? Do you have a win for this week? Something you would like to celebrate? Remember, what gets celebrated gets replicated. So you're celebrating something because when you celebrate something, you're going to get more of that very thing. So no matter how big or how small it is, even if you're proud that, maybe you're proud that you went for a run one day this week, or, that's a win. Maybe, I actually, that's a win for me this week because I've been really strict with my schedule this week and got my workout in every morning, rather than just willy-nilly getting off and getting mixed up into other things. So that was a win for me this week. I got my workout in every morning. So no matter how big or how small, so I'm celebrating that, and you can celebrate together. Dan's being shy. Don't be shy, Dan. Give me a win. Anyone else, if you're here with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, give me some wins. Or if you have a question, just in general, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, success. All right. So I'll keep jamming. I'm gonna be on for a few minutes. So on Fridays when I go live, I go live for 30 minutes. I always am live on Fridays at 11:30. So I'm here to drop some gems and diamonds and pearls of wisdom for you. Started cleaning up the garage and fix some sprinklers. Yes, cleaning up the garage is a huge win. And Dan, if you're still in Florida, I know how I know how important those sprinklers are. I was on a call with clients this week, and a couple of my clients are in Florida, but they're in different parts of Florida. And one of them was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy it's raining. It's the first time we've had rain in forever, and the grass is dead and everything is dead." And the other one was like, "Really? Where are you? Because we've been getting rain every day." Dan, you're still in Satellite? Okay. All right. Satellite Beach used to be home for me. For those of you who don't know, Satellite Beach used to be home for me. All right. All right. So celebrating that, Dan. So we're celebrating with you, for you, and now you'll have more. more of the same. And let's see. So I was saying, so I'm always live on Fridays from 11:30 to noon. Monday through Thursday, I go live every day, but it's not at a certain time. Oftentimes it ends up being in the evening. I actually do want to get better about it being a little bit earlier in the evening because it's gotten to the point where it tends to be kind of late in the evening and it just kind of messes up my whole evening routine, and I end up getting to bed later than I would like, which just cuts into my sleep, which I don't require. I don't know. I think I require a normal amount of sleep. I'm a 7-hour girl. I used to be able to get away with 6 hours, and now I'm a 7-hour girl. But yeah, so so you can always catch me live during the week. If you miss any of those and you want to go back and check it out, it's on my YouTube channel. So you can go to YouTube at The Peaceful Billionaire and subscribe. You can catch all the replays there. What's also on YouTube are my daily vlog entries. So I do a daily vlog entry, which is my behind the scenes, full transparent, the highs, the lows, everything in between, my behind the scenes journey of what's required, of what is required both, come back Instagram, of what is required both internally and externally to really build unprecedented levels of wealth and success in a short period of time, while still maintaining, still maintaining my peace. And that's one of the things that I promised myself. And that's one of the things that's really important for my clients, is that if that is the journey, if that is the choice that you make, for greater levels of wealth and success, that you also are doing that without the stress, without the overwhelm, without the fear, without the worry, without the doubt, all of those things that get in the way and slow it down, Because I spent enough years of my life, really working 60 to 80 hours a week. I was beyond stressed. I was overwhelmed. My health was suffering overall. And I didn't even realize it at the time, because I was in that grind. I was on that hamster wheel. I was in the day to day. I didn't realize at the time how much I was sacrificing, how much I was denying myself of. I didn't realize how much more there was available to me in life, because I was going through the motions, and I was so depleted. I was so depleted because I was working so much and I was so stressed out. I remember being, I was frustrated. I was like short-tempered, and it was not the best time, and so not the best reflection of who I am or what I was capable of. But it's also really, really great to have that ability to compare and contrast and look back to that, and be able to just really look at myself in the mirror and be proud of not only how far I've come, but most importantly, who I've become. And that's one of the other things that I always say, and that is most important to me. There is no amount of money in this world that I would consider to be my greatest achievement. No matter how much wealth or success I generate and create, my greatest achievement is who I've become on this journey to getting to that place. That will always be my most proud, my most valuable achievement. And the amazing thing about that is that's the part that no one can take away. So when you're on that path and you're simultaneously becoming the highest and best version of yourself while building greater levels of wealth and success, the ups and downs with the money become irrelevant, because who you've become, no one can take that away from you, There might be ebbs and flows on the financial journey. There might be ebbs and flows in how you're feeling on your personal journey. But who you've become, you can't undo that. It can't be undone, and no one can take that away from you. And it is truly, truly my most proud accomplishment and achievement. Like certainly Ajessa from even oh my God, even a few years ago, no way under any circumstances would I have been going live and talking to people and doing a vlog and just it's really, really remarkable what you are capable of when you start accessing 100% of that value and power of your mind and the ability to go beyond the confinements of your conscious logical thinking brain. There's so much power. You are pure potential. There's so much power available to you to really, really create anything that you choose, anything that you desire in this life, including the financial destiny of your choosing, All right, my friends, that is, I'm going to leave you with that today. I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Where you are now is closer than you've ever been. Keep going. Where you are now is closer than you've ever been. Keep going. So if you're not yet where you'd like to be mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, that's okay. Where you are now is closer than you've ever been. Just keep going. And I shall see you Monday live at some time, but feel free to catch the vlog on YouTube. Much peace, much prosperity, many blessings to you. I will see you soon. Have an incredible weekend. Bye for now. Bye for now.